Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com here with a deck tech for my John the Lukka surprise featuring Karn the Great Creator. I have three kids downstairs and a fourth being a friend over playing, so if you hear random screaming and stomping, that would be them. So the idea of this deck is similar to our Lukka surprise deck, the Gruul version, but instead of going all in on the Emrakul plan with a sort of semi-shaky backup plan of Ragavan beats with hierarch triggers, we're adding Karn the Great Creator. The reason for this being that Karn really shown in our Sarkhan Lukka combo deck, where I sort of mashed together those two strategies just to give us another line of attack. Karn is obviously super powerful in Modern. Everyone who's, if you've ever played against it, you know the power level of it. Being able to tutor up things from your sideboard is extremely powerful, but in our deck, it's even more powerful than you would expect, precisely because of the limitation we have with our Lukka combo, right? In order to always hit Emrakul, we have to play creatures of either 1 mana or 2 mana or whatever, but we can't play anything between the lowest mana cost creature and 15. So all of our creatures are 1-drops. And that really limits our ability to win long games or mid-range games because a lot of the heavy lifting is really on the Ragavan with hierarch triggers. Well, Karn lets us skirt this problem by having creatures in our sideboard. So if we get the Karn down and we need a mid-range threat or a different finisher, we can tutor it up. Furthermore, some decks, like we played a mill deck, they had a main deck Surgical Extraction, took out our Emrakul, and we're left sort of dirtling and just dying slowly to mill. Control decks will have sweepers or solitudes to answer a resolved Emrakul, or they'll just counter the Lukka. Spot decks with spot removal will kill the mana dork that we target with Lukka before we can get the Emrakul. So the answers are many in Modern for a resolved Emrakul or to stop it from resolving, and so having a diversity of threats beyond the Ragavan, I think, will make the deck more powerful. We're splashing for black because of the early game interaction we get from it. Fatal Push is such a powerful card in the format. Almost reads destroy target creature. Thoughtseize, great, everyone knows. Really good against any deck basically except perhaps Burn. Great against combo, helps us against control to maybe stick a Lukka or take out the piece that would answer our Emrakul. So we have made room for some early interaction and for Karn, and it came at the cost of ways to dig for our combo pieces. Mostly we took out the Oath of Nissas and we took out the Fable of the Mirror Breakers, but we were able to find room for 4 Bitter Reunions and 1 crashing our Footfall Crater. That's 5 ways of giving a resolved Emrakul haste. And again, if you've watched the video or listened to the deck tech from my Gruul Lukka deck, you know how important a hasty Emrakul is, given how many answers there are in Modern, even for a card that says protection from all colored spells. Furthermore, the Bitter Reunion does help us dig for whatever we need, the Lukka, or a 1-drop if we already have the Lukka and they've killed all of our creatures. So it's a little bit of a hybrid. We did cut back on some of our consistency by getting rid of our ways of finding our combo pieces, but I think we've added power and sustainability or longevity with our early interaction. So what we're really hoping to do with this is, if we don't have the Lukka, manage the board state, get in some attacks, dig for it if we can't find it, get the Karn, otherwise go get something from our sideboard to either manage the board state or turn the corner and take over and win that way, or hope our opponent wastes or exhausts their resources to kill the Ragavan and the Karn and whatever we get with the Karn, so that when we do finally draw the Lukka, it resolves and we're able to get the Emrakul and win on the spot. So essentially we're playing a Jundi style early game with the ability to silver bullet our opponent with Karn, and with a mid to late game that is just game over for most decks, especially if we play it right. In the sideboard, we have a typical Karn package of Graveyard Hate. Maybe it's not that typical. I play Elixir of Immortality largely just for burn. Pithy Needle, kind of catch all, Liquid Metal Coating to take win some I don't know what's the word, the jank our opponent out by destroying their lands if they're stumbling on mana or if they have a greedy mana base. Wormcoil Engine is usually one of the things we get first when we need a finisher. Engineer Explosives for Rhinos, Chalice of the Void for burn. We have 3 Force of Vigors just to take out affinity style decks, Pithy Needles of our opponents, things like that. Late on to the Void against Graveyard, even though we have Tormod's Crypt. Now, I talk about this in the videos, why Tormod's Crypt over Relic of Progenitus. Well, in my experience against the Graveyard decks, which are always trying to do something totally unfair and on a different axis than what we're playing for the most part. When you need a graveyard answer for their graveyard, you need it the turn you, like basically now. You need it the turn you resolve Karn, and if you only have 4 mana, you have to wait, give your opponent a chance to untap, then you have to untap, then you play the relic. It gives your opponent way too much time to either kill you or find a way to play around the relic. Tormod's Crypt being 0 mana, we can get it the turn we play Karn, and then cast it as well. And you'll see in the first video how important that is for us staying alive. We do play the 3 Leyline of the Voids precisely because graveyard strategies are so busted. And there's a new deck running around, a Rakdos graveyard strategy, that we've played twice now, and that's our first match in the video. The 2 Jank / Spice in the sideboard are Noxious Gearhulk and Combustible Gearhulk. The idea here is powerful creatures with ETBs. Noxious Gearhulk can take care of a Murktide or Primeval Titan or even an opponent's Emrakul if we run into the mirror. Haha, right? And Combustible Gearhulk might be at its best in this deck. If our opponent decides to let us draw 3, great. If they want to mill us 3, maybe they'll hit. Well, maybe we'll mill an Emrakul and they'll be dead on the spot. I can see cutting both of these, to be honest, for something a little bit more efficient, and that answers some of the threats out there, like a find room for cut one for a Haywire might give us an answer against the One Ring. But I really like the Gearhulks, and I want to give them a chance, and I like the Jank level. So that's our John Lukka surprise featuring Karn the Great Creator, and we've played 1 match already, and it was super fun. The deck did all kinds of things that I was so happy. So watch that video. I even made a little mini wrap up of it. It was so much fun. And I will start some practice matches and eventually run this through a league and post it. So thanks again for watching, like always. And this is Johnny Cycles with cyclesgaming.com, and I'll see you on the next one.